Hey there guys, it's Mr. Q, your friendly neighborhood guitar. This is the LG Q6, not to be confused with the LG G6. This phone is around $200, a little bit over it. Thank you so much to LG and Jumbo Electronics for sending me this device so that I can share my views, my feedback with you guys. So let's talk about the screen. It is 5.5 inches and as you can see, like its big brother, it has hardly any bezels, which is pretty cool. In regards to the resolution, it's a little bit above full HD at 1080 by 2160. In regards to the pixels per inch, and for those that don't know, pixels per inch means how compacted all of those pixels are. This is at around 442. Again, just so you know, the iPhone is around 326, 329, and so this is above that, so you don't have to worry about seeing any of those dots. Let's talk about the size of the phone, specifically thinness. Oh yes, it is at 8.1 millimeters thick, which is pretty cool. I also wanted to talk about the camera because you can see that this camera is not like the G6 with that telephoto and standard zoom lenses, which is okay because of the price point. It is at 13 megapixels and we can record full HD at 30 frames per second. Now, it can't record at 60 frames per second, it can't record 4K, but again, this is supposed to be a price-friendly phone. In regards to the front, we've got a 5 megapixel camera. Also, this can record, at HD and is pretty good at the most basic stuff. So whenever I did use it, I didn't have any issues with taking photos. Of course, if you wanted the best camera, then you'd probably go for the G6. But this is doable. I should mention that this doesn't have optical image stabilization. It does have some form of image stabilization because when I was going ahead and doing that jiggly test, I didn't have as much shakiness as I expected that I would. So I guess this is software based. Let me touch again on the screen because I wanted to talk about the usability. Whenever I've been holding this phone in my hand, I feel like it does feel good. It doesn't feel like it's going to slip out of my hand. And the main reason is because the back has this nice curvature. The sides have this flat, but also very slightly curvy sides to it, which is really good because it's not going to be slippery. And then the front has this sharp edge. It is not curved, although I wish it did have a little bit of a curvature on the glass, not on the screen, because I'm a fan of actually LG's implementation of being long and still flat without, that infinity style. I think the infinity style screens on Samsung devices are really beautiful. However, I just don't like that light bleed, and this keeps everything uniform. In the front of this, they've actually got a really good oilophobic layer. Let me see if I can show you the reflection over here. I'm gonna try to touch this to put some fingerprints on it. You can see those fingerprints right over there. One quick wipe and it's gone. So that's actually a really good thing. But where they fail is actually on the back. You can already see, hopefully, some of these fingerprints. And even though I wipe it, you can still see that the fingerprints stay. So I wish that they had this nice oilophobic coating on the back, but I guess, of course, the front of the phone is the most important, since that's what we look at most of the time. Unless you're kind of weird and you're just sitting like that looking at the back all the time. Let's talk about storage. We've got 3 different models and I really dislike it when phone companies give us different models of storage that are also tied to RAM. So we've got the 16 gigabyte, 32 and 64. 16 gets 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gets 3 gigs of RAM, 64 gets 4 gigs of RAM. I personally prefer it if they just give us the same amount of 4 gigs of RAM across the board. However, LG did do something that I appreciate. They gave them slightly different names. So you've got the Q6 Alpha, the Q6, and the Q6 Plus. The one that I have in my hand here is the Q6, so it is 32 gigs and it has 3 gigs of RAM. I can also go ahead and use a micro SD card if I wanted to, so that I could expand the storage. So let's talk about the processor. So how fast can a slightly above $200 phone be? It's got a Snapdragon 435 and it's an octa-core at 1.4 gigahertz. In terms of daily usage, I didn't have any issues. When I played some high intensity games, I did notice that there was some frame rate lag, the stutter, but it wasn't a deal breaker. But again, as I said, it's a good budget friendly phone. For those of you that need a removable battery phone, this is not for you because you cannot remove the battery, just like most phones these days, so we should be used to it by now. It's got 3000 milliamps. Of course, I wish that it was a little bit bigger, but that's the way that it goes. And I think that it's actually quite usable. I did notice though that if you've got any data-hungry apps, this phone can be drained, but it also did charge quite fast. You can get this phone in multiple different colors, from black, white, silver, and this one, the gold edition. So what UI does it use? It uses the LG UI 5.0 all over Android 7.1.1 Nougat. And to be honest, I actually like their UI. I like the fact that they have this little drawer button on the bottom left-hand side, so it makes it easy for me to simply tap this and open up that drawer rather than trying to get all the way to the top and then pulling down. So I like it. So let me talk about some of the other specs. We've got Wi-Fi, we've got NFC, we've got AGPS, we've got Bluetooth 4.2, which is great because it means that we're gonna save on battery. And of course, we've got that Gorilla Glass on the front, not on the back, on the front. One of the things that we also do have is a radio. Some people still wanna listen to the radio on their mobile phones. Yep, you've got it over here. Some people might also be happy to know that there is a dual SIM variant. So what are the things that I don't like about this phone? Well, first of all, I don't like the fact that, yeah, it's USB or micro USB at the bottom. I wish that it was USB-C because the whole world is moving towards that angle. However, I guess some people will be really happy that they can still use their micro USB cables. That's good. I also don't like, of course, as I said, the fingerprint magnet. I don't like the positioning of the speaker. I would rather have it at the bottom, ideally at the front, so it's facing our ear holes. But because it's on the back, you know, there's the opportunity that when you're holding the phone like this, that you will block the speakers. I don't like that. Having said that, I didn't really block it that often, mainly because I don't know why, but I didn't block it that often, but I don't like the positioning. For those of you that still want to plug in their headphones into the 3.5mm headphone jack, good news for you, you've got it over here. So, what is my opinion of the Q6? It's actually a pretty good value phone. I'm sure that you'll agree that this is a device that you'd be happy to use. You wouldn't mind actually showing off because it actually looks pretty as well. Pretty. So I'd give this phone a thumbs up. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up because thumbs are free and they mean a lot to me. And if you've got any questions or if there's a device that you would like me to take a look at, maybe I can get my hands on it, let me know in the comments section below. Of course, if you want to see the latest videos, don't forget to subscribe. Take care.